The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. We got a lot of shows coming up. The same shows every single week, be it the Sunday Night Live recap that we're doing before Sunday Night Football, the ranking show, the spread picks, the best bets, the DraftKings picks. You're going to know pretty firmly what the football schedule is going to be starting on Monday of this week. So what better time to have some friends of the show on just to have a chat, fill some content for you, some bonus content during the long weekend, because I'm always looking for content on the long weekends. We might as well do this right now. Matthew Wiley is on with me, sir. I want to congratulate you on your hundreds of thousands of new dollars.
Man, well, I like being called a content filler, by the way. That's pretty much the story of my life. So Sunday, I'll get right into that. One PGA Showdown 1, 2, 3, which I ran some luck late to get it, but it was very exciting. So a nice way to build up the kitty for Showdown season, right? It's NFL season. And I said to Nelson in one of the Discords, maybe it was on Twitter, I said, show me my year-long profitability graph for golf, because it's usually garbage, because we closed real strong. Golf's hard, Pat.
Don't have to tell me about that. Yeah. I was having a god-awful year until the BMW Championship, and while I didn't win hundreds of thousands of dollars, I hit enough for me to be like, hey, I'm up a little bit of money now. This is great. And I feel like Showdown in NFL is probably the same way too. Like, you're just going to lose so much, and you're just playing for that one big win, aren't you?
I find profitability, and my stats may say differently, but looking back at last year with a few big wins in Showdown NFL, I find it to be one of the better games for me to play. PGA, extraordinarily difficult, but I left it to the very last tournament. I didn't play PGA Showdown all year, and then I played it once, and I just applied some of the mechanics I'm using for NFL and some things I've learned from some of the sharpest minds in the game, and it worked. Pick winners. That's the thing you do.
Yeah, pick the guys who win. I've always heard that. I don't know how to do that, so that's especially difficult for me. But
are you playing Euro this week?
No.
Okay.
Well, I know on DraftKings, yeah, I am playing Euro.
Okay.
It's not going.
I locked Matt Fitzpatrick, so he closed well.
As of the time of this recording, that's looking pretty good. I only ended up playing one lineup. I just played one in like the 25 because it was like 100K up there. Did you max it out?
Yeah, I maxed it. And I locked. I'm in the mindset now, like in Showdown, where I don't mess with min max. I just let the projections do a lot of the talking. But I also don't. I know you have to have a lot of conviction on one or two players in order to have a chance to win it all. And that's where I'm going in golf. I mean, if you talk to a guy like Cam Cole, I think he's won formulas. I mean, he locks one or two players, even in the big contests. So you really have to have conviction. I locked Xander and Cantlay in the Showdown on Sunday, and that played out really well for me.
And that's how you come 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's how I come 1, 2, 3.
So do you do the same thing for NFL Showdown?
I don't lock players in NFL Showdown. It's strictly on projections. The projections, if you hit the game script correctly and you hit projections on the players, if you use your own, the optimizer, if it's good, will build the optimal lineup for you. And it's without you forcing min-max, without you locking players, without even you locking captains. I can't beat a calculator in terms of how to assemble lineups based on projections. So, in every sport, projections are essential. Golf is just the most difficult, right? I mean, how do you project birdie streaks or eagles? I mean, you could project maybe finishing position. So yeah, locking one or two players in golf is really the model for me now. So we're excited for next season.
Are you even playing like regular slate NFL, or is that just like a goof for you and you're focusing on Showdown?
No, I'll play regular slate NFL. I think it's a lot more difficult. I'll probably do more MME stuff. I've been playing a lot more baseball, Pat. Baseball.
Didn't know you knew anything about baseball.
I not to the level of a lot of these players, no, but it's mathematics, right? It's just how you assemble the lineups based on projections. And I've learned a lot recently from very sharp people as how to do that effectively. So we're trying to ship baseball. Baseball.
I kind of want to see you be the fantasy baseball world champion and not know who a single player is.
That's right. That's right. The LA who?
So I mean, yeah, you're saying you're not wearing that hat anymore. Usually, when was the last time you wore that Dodgers hat?
I think I wore it once.
In that picture?
In that picture. Yeah. Everyone thinks I'm a Dodgers slap. I mean, listen, we grew up following baseball, so I know a lot about baseball, but I don't follow it in this modern century. I mean, we were Jays idiots, right? Weren't you?
I was. I mean, you and I are almost like the perfect range of ages, I think, to be Canadian and Jays fans.
Yeah. So NHL a lot different. I love that for DFS. MLB though, it's kind of a sweat. It's really like NHL. A lot of variance with these pitchers, just like goalies. So
I didn't really. Do you play a ton of NHL DFS like every night, or are you like a once a weeker?
I started off a lot of NHL. I won the Spinorama, the first one last year for 100,000. That was fun. And I think that I was part of a DK council this year to help get our thoughts. I was there with Saul Goodman, DFS, to get our thoughts on how to improve the NHL game. And it's for us, contest size. I think you could bring a lot more players in the game if you made the contest bigger.
But are you sure that would work? Because how much, if you're advising, and I mean, I agree with you, you would probably get more players and especially more money, and if you make the contest bigger. But I mean, I kind of see this with my listeners league all the time. Like if I make it bigger, it'll fill eventually, but I'll have to press forward a little bit. But if I shrink it a little bit, it fills instantly. So let's say I some weeks it's going to be like $4,000 or $4,500, and there is a DraftKings Week 1 Listeners League, by the way. It's in the description. You can go reserve your spot. It's rake free.
Your DraftKings Week? How many people are in it?
5K for Week 1.
No rake.
75K for total. And it's like flat payouts.
You've got so much collateral with DK. Like that's pretty king shit there, Pat.
Well, I mean,
5,000 player contest.
It'll be good for my contract negotiations when I'm like, hey, I can fill up this contest with players every week.
Well, yeah, you brought DK a lot of money.
Yeah,
I brought DK some money. I've never gotten a check. I need to get a check from them. DK.
Well, get your show sponsored by DraftKings for the last 7 years, and you'll be good to go. But I can't be on a council because I'm just not. I'm keeping the money. I'm not putting the money back in all the way like you can. You tend to be. Right. So like for golf season, like obviously you're probably up for the year now. Like that profitability graph. Were you just like treading water all year and boom, that's the big spike?
No, Nelson showed my graph. I retweeted it. I hadn't never played PGA Showdown. So I went from zero net to 166 or 146,000 or whatever it was. So it was a nice spike. Now in classic, yeah, that's a fucking disaster. So yeah, but I'm kind of glad PGA's over, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just feel like it's been 2 years of animosity, a lot of whining, a lot of vitriol, a lot of splitting fan base. And I was a little just tired of carrying water and, yelling at people about what I don't care that much about millionaire golfers to be chopping it up on Twitter and defending it all the time. And so I'm really glad NFL season's here and Ryder Cup, right?
Yeah, well, Ryder Cup's going to be a blast. We're going to blow that out for content. And I hope the contests are as good. I feel like the President's Cup was a lot of fun last year. And like the Ryder Cup wasn't a ton of fun 2 years ago, only because it was so lopsided that it made it pretty uncompetitive. But President's Cup when it was in Australia was awesome for DraftKings, wasn't it? I remember that.
I can't recall.
Having Answer and then he ended up getting beat by Tiger. That was great.
I can't recall. I do know that one interesting thing that came up in these meetings was a very surprising stat about how many 5 of 6 lineups across all price entry levels for DK PGA go 5 of 6 or 5 of 6 lineups cash, excuse me. And
Now, is that new to this year and last year, or is that historically? Because I would feel
it was
like
46% of 5 to 6 lineups in PGA are on the cash line, which I thought was
over how many years?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it was last year exclusively, but I remember being 6 to 6 in a 4-4-4-4 with like 4% 6 to 6, and I didn't cash. It's crazy. I know I'm bouncing around, but I just thought that stat was interesting about PGA.
Do you think it has anything to do with the volatility? Like the bottom end of PGA, like the tour itself right now is kind of in flux because, as much as you want to talk about like Jason Kokrak and Charles Howell III, these like, fourth tier PGA guys that went to live, they did provide a solid base week to week. And there's so many guys left that you just have these high variance guys in now that could be third place or last place.
Totally. And I felt like, how in every year you get a Taylor Moore or Lucas Glover leading on Saturday. None of them seem to give up the lead, right? I mean, they just seem to close well and win. You had so many, it seems, first-time winners this year or rare winners, and the guys like JT didn't do anything at all. I think there's a lot of streakiness and bonusness in golf that just is very difficult to measure or predict. Bogey free rounds, streaks, eagles, and it's just tough sometimes to get that lineup that has those freaky numbers.
I mean, that's not that much different than, we play it a ton and we've been talking about it for the past 8 months, but in football, like, really what's the difference in an actual game state of a guy who has 7 catches for 99 yards and a guy
because
who has
you can pretty much predict, you can pretty much predict that how he's going to get there. 7 catches for 99 yards for Chase and a touchdown.
True, but if he gets 1 more yard, it's now all of a sudden an extra 3 points.
Yeah, extra 3 points, but right. But in golf, how you get there is just, it's a mystery. I mean, you could have 45 birdies and 45 bogeys. I mean, and streaks and all under 60 or under 70. It's just different, right?
Sure, yeah. Every even par round is not worth the same amount.
That's right. You need some players to be shitty and catch back up again. So, yeah, it's just, when you have projections in golf, they're really, at least to me, meaningless. Like Scotty Scheffler has an 88 projected score. I mean, he could do 140. It's almost a 2x variability on terms of projection. So, yeah, I don't even know what we're talking about, but
we're just talking. That's what this is for. People want to just have two pals shooting the shit about DraftKings. Well, what's the Players Council like, by the way? Like, what are the weird questions are you allowed to talk about it?
They all wear robes and wigs.
You like the stonecutters.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had to do a sort of a blood seance that we all share. That's what we do at these meetings. No, I mean, they're actually quite nice. The guy who sets up a lot of these contests, he's extremely sharp. His name eludes me because I'm terrible with names, but they did value the feedback for NHL. We gave some feedback on PGA. They did one for best ball, but I missed the meeting. But that's what they're like. I mean, you've got a couple of guys just asking a bunch of questions and getting feedback and saying, how can we make this game better? And I said, for NHL, honestly, you can, we saw it with PGA. Remember, there was a 4-4-4-4. I forget which one it was for, British Open. And they had so many qualifiers for it from other sports, from MLB. And it filled on a Tuesday. And you had a lot of guys in there who don't play PGA, but just won tickets. I think you can get this. You get a lot of NBA guys jumping into NHL when any NBA has a break.
Sure, but like the weird thing about golf was where, I was going to say it's not as popular as hockey, but golf might be more popular inside North America, inside the United States at this point than hockey is, isn't it?
Mm-mm. I think PGA in terms of visibility is outside the top 10 worldwide.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, if we're talking about filling a DraftKings contest.
NHL is huge. In terms of contests?
Yeah.
Yeah. NHL is almost niche in terms of DFS sport. And I think it's the best. I think it's one of the best and most fun to play.
Sure, but I mean, it's the same thing, same case I made for golf all these years. Like, I love playing DraftKings football, but I love
Right.
playing DraftKings PGA because I just think it's the best bang for your buck that you're going to get. And like you mentioned, the high variance and not knowing where everything's going to come from creates a real sweat. Like, I got my dad playing DraftKings golf lineups. He fucking loves it.
Does he?
Yeah, he's just like, who's this guy? I'll use him. And then he's like tracking his score all of a sudden. And it's like he can think about it on a Wednesday afternoon, fill out a lineup, and he's usually good till at least Friday afternoon until the cut comes. And maybe you'll have a sweat throughout the weekend. Like, that's the fun of it. Like, football's over in 3 hours.
I do believe that the less you know in golf about players, probably the better you're gonna do.
Well, you never end up using the random jabronis that I use, who I just think are going to be good and aren't.
Yeah. I was trying to think of some Euro slaps that I played this week. It's crazy, some of these names from back in the day.
Yeah, I played some dude from France I've never heard of because Sky and Tom on the DP World Tour pick show told me to play him. I was like, all right, I'm in.
Who's that one dude that you and Jeff used to pronounce? Oh, I know who it is. Victor.
Is it Victor Dubesson? Because I think he's in this
That was a good bit.
Dude had great like late 90s side part rider
but
strong.
You used to also lift your finger up like this.
Well, you got to be like pretending to smoke. I have a new guy though, the young Belgian guy, Adrian.
Say his name normally. Say his name normally, then say it the way you say it.
Well, I think it's. I think I actually pronounce it correctly. I don't need some American telling me. And you're American now, by the way, not Canadian.
Oh yeah, totally.
I don't need some American telling me how to pronounce a French name when je parle français. So Adrien Dumont Descharets is how I assume you actually pronounce it. When you got some American who's like, well, yeah, I got this Adrien Duchamont in my foyer, and it's like, all right, man. Like,
je parle français totalement.
Do you please tell me you don't say foyer?
That is a very difficult. I actually was with one of my daughter's friends, and she wanted to say the word foyer or foyer. And I said, it's a very big struggle for me because there's a town here where this is horse country. And the central hub of horse country is Versailles. It's extremely difficult.
I know.
Hold on a second. I know.
Like, is that actually what it's called? Or is that just how like yokels pronounce it?
It's Versailles. No, Versailles. It's Versailles.
That's a tough scene.
It's difficult. I mean, because when I say foyer, not a lot of people know what I'm talking about. But there you go. Sorry, Pat.
I don't know how I could. I guess you get used to it. Is that what happens?
You do. I've been here for 23 years. Yeah. I mean, you get used to it.
That's Versailles? Really?
There's better ones. I mean, I don't think there's better ones, but there's more examples.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean, if you're going to go with Versailles, I can't imagine what like fringy ones are like.
Well, Louisville, right? Louisville. That's not bad. But Kentucky has a major French influence.
It kind of sounds like it, but at the same time, it doesn't sound like it whatsoever.
But they strip the Frenchiness from it for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. So when you go down and start parlaying Francais, how do they react?
I might as well be speaking Mandarin. It's not really something that's spoken a lot here in Kentucky. Albeit my daughter was taking French in middle school, and that was amusing for both of us in terms of how they were teaching it. Our French sucked, though. Let's be honest. Let's go. If you want to talk about the Ontario school system.
I mean, I'm not in Ontario. I don't give a shit about the Ontario.
No, when we grew up, like we took French for 16 years, it seemed.
We got to opt in or opt out.
Did you opt in or out?
I was in French immersion from like the 6th grade to the 10th grade, and I was like, fuck it. But I kept doing math and French.
But we never became really good at it. That's the thing.
No, because we never actually had to use it. There was no practical application in speaking the language for us.
Right. We could go to France and act. We could be a joke.
Oh, yeah. Like when I was in Paris last year, and I didn't do much speaking of the French, but I could understand everything everyone was saying. But like it's one of those, like I could always write French better than I could speak French.
I could read it, write it.
Yeah, but when someone says it to me, I can understand it. It's just me communicating it back. I talk I talk so slowly, trying to like and like when you're out of like, I haven't seriously spoken French in like 20 years. So like there's just words you just forget.
Yeah, I agree. That's been
And the
big
French
bump.
look at Quebecois French is like, I mean, I don't even know what an apt comparison would be. Like,
No, I can get around and sound somewhat proficient in it and maybe a little cool. But if you go off the farm a little bit, I'm a fraud. So people will ask me down here in Versailles to speak French, and I can get away with a little bit, but I can't sell the whole package.
well, if you want to sell it without knowing it, do the accent. That really sells it.
I do have a long-standing bet with every American, and this has gone on for 23 years, and the hit rate is 0%, zero, as to what is the capital of Canada. Oh, one employee got it. He's looking at me right now.
This was on the challenge this week, and no one knew it. An American CBS show.
No, like smart people. You know, the answers are always Ontario, Toronto, Quebec.
I mean, at least Toronto makes sense as an answer. It's not the answer, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like if I didn't know anything about America. They're like, "What's the capital of the U.S.?" I'd be like, "Oh, New York." Like, I could see how you could make that leap. Like, what's the city you know? That's probably the capital. Which is
Right.
Turns out, I mean, in Europe it's usually the answer, but for like the rest of the world, it's not.
Yeah.
What's the capital of Kentucky? Frankfurt?
Yes. That's a pretty good one, Pat.
Well, sometimes
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. It's funny that you have the German name in there with Versailles.
Yeah. Yes. We're an eclectic bunch down here.
Yeah. So is that like big Lafayette country when they came over and had the revolution? Just Kentucky.
I live in Fayette County. It's Fayette, but it's Fayette. Fayette.
How many best ball drafts did you end up doing?
Oh my God. I'm lagging. I did 1,555. I'm about 100 in on the $10, and I got to close it strong.
You're still going.
Yeah, I was going to do the $50,000 best ball draft, but I got in. No, thank you. That's our mail person. I was going to do it, but I got in just under the wire, the opposite of under the wire. So I didn't get it, but I've done a lot, and it's been fun. I mean, I think that there is a quarterbacks are going way early this year. I've been stacking a ton of the Eagles. I think they're just absolutely loaded, and I like where I am right now.
Have you done any drafts since all the cuts were made?
I did one this morning, and the DK app, I can say this, kept timing out, and so it basically auto drafted like Jerome Ford, the backup running back for the Browns, and it completely tilts your brain up when that happens. But I've been very lucky as to not be hit with a majority or my heaviest weight players be cut, thankfully.
Where did Jonathan Taylor go in that draft?
He was first round early on, and yeah, and then
not today.
No, not today. I'm talking about back in what?
Oh June, yeah, where did he go today? I'm curious.
Oh, I'll tell you right now. I get the sense that he may be worth the gamble. Do you think he shows up at a team day one?
Well, no, he's out 4 weeks because he's on the PUP list. It's just, is he actually hurt, or is this just what they're doing to him? And then all of a sudden in week 5, he's fine. Like, I think that there's a difference. Like, I like Kamara this year a lot. Like, he's back in week 4.
If you could sweat the first 3 games, right?
Yeah, and I think that if there's ever a time that you can sweat any of the games, it's the first 3 weeks before there are bye weeks. Like, you'll have, as long as your guys aren't hurt, you have an entire complement of players. It's just when you get into like bye week shit and your guys on suspension, then it becomes a bit more problematic. But you should have someone that can at least tread water for you for 3 weeks, and then boom, you might get a top 5 running back when he comes back. I just don't know what Jonathan Taylor is going to be like when he comes back, because if he's actually hurt, which is dubious, I really don't know. No one seems to know that. Yeah, he's out the 4 weeks, but that doesn't guarantee he's going to play in week 5. At least with Kamara, we know he's healthy. He's going to play in week 4.
Went 5th round.
Where did Kamara go?
Kamara's going to go later than that. He's been going pretty late. He went 76. He went the 7th round.
I think that's a good pick.
I've been taking so much Algier from Atlanta. Is it Algier?
Yeah, from the Bijan people.
I hate. I'm going to tell you right now. Bijan is Pitts was my bust last year. The Bijan people are unbearable. Take him in the first round, dude. That's fine. Bust City.
I'm with you. I just don't get how. I mean, I get it. You can become enamored with a player, and if you don't take him in the first round, the chances are he's not going to make it back to you if you truly believe. But like, what's the difference between him and Saquon, who's going like double the picks later?
Hang on, I'm getting a spam call.
You should take it on the show. See if you need your ducks cleaned. I don't even know what that means.
Do you want to know the stupidest thing? I met this. It sounds like I'm meeting guys. I met this guy, John. He's in business with me now.
It was on Hinge, but now it's a business relationship.
I met this guy, right? No, I was texting him and he wasn't texting back. And it turns out I had stored his number incorrectly from my call list. And in fact, I was tweeting or texting a spam company. And so now they harass me all the time because I guess I gave away sensitive details about my life. They called me this morning and said, "Hey, you need financing, don't you?" I'm like, "No,
I don't." Thank you.
Why not? Yeah.
I mean, that's where I get it though, because that's where I get the majority of my financing from is from random calls from strangers.
Yeah. I
said,
I don't need financing. I'm fine. He's like, "Why not?" I was like, "Is this the guy I've been texting for a year?" So no. Anyway, that was probably him.
Do you like what are like? So you have the financing ones. What other spam calls do you get? Because I always get duck cleaning and I get a bunch in Mandarin.
No, I never get duck cleaning. It's always website help, and now it's financing in America because interest rates are so high. They just try to scalp everyone. The one thing I do get is the Police and Firefighters Foundation. Now, if you watch telemarketers on HBO, Max. It's a series called Telemarketers. Look back about 11 years ago about how insidious this environment was for telemarketing, how awful it was. So in the US, you get a lot of calls from Police and Fire Foundation, right? And you feel obligated to donate because why would I not want to support these organizations that are underfunded? Well, it turns out these telemarketing companies, all they do is give a small check, medium-sized check to the police and say, "Can we use your name in telemarketing?" Sure. So they could make $10 billion and it all goes to them. And the police just get that upfront check. Anyway, I would suggest watching that on Max, not HBO Max.
Just Max. Because I think it has Discovery too. So we can watch.
They changed their brand. The dumbest people. That's like you dropping your last name. HBO dropped HBO and just calls it Max now.
Yeah. Is that a Time Warner thing though? Because now they can put all their streaming services on one platform. Like, because I mean, look, like I have Matt, like in you know how it works in Canada. Like it's like, I think it's Crave up here that has Max, Hulu, and like Disney Plus's Hulu up here as well. Yeah. Like it's more condensed and consolidated that, you know, what are 3 streaming services in the US is just one here. So it's good bang for your buck.
The funny thing is that we sometimes get DoorDash for some of our relatives in Canada, and Skip the Dishes is your version of DoorDash.
Yeah, John Hamm's in the commercials.
Skip the Dishes is hilarious. Come on, it's not. It's hilarious.
I mean, I
it's
don't.
It's a ripoff.
I don't think I have Skip the Dishes. What do I have? Oh, I do have Skip the Dishes. There we are. I was wrong about that. Trying to teach my 86-year-old grandma how to use Uber. She can't drive. Well, she's legally allowed to drive herself. She can't really see her here, so it's not great when she takes her car out. So I was trying to teach her how to use Uber, and that was just...
Uber's the greatest. It's the absolute greatest.
It would be great for her because then she wouldn't have to drive. I was just link it to my credit card. You'll never have to pay for it. Go wherever you want. But now,
right?
Not
you should hit her up. You should hit her up for financing. See if she wants some financing.
I mean, you might be able to talk her into some financing if she has like one of those custom, like it's not a rotary phone, but it's like a classic phone. It has huge buttons and it is so fucking loud it will blow out your eardrums. But she has none left, so she needs.
Let's let's set up a scheme to take all your grandma's money.
Well, unfortunately, it's all my money
already,
because I got to pay for it.
You've already done that.
No, I didn't listen. She didn't have a ton of money to begin with, so now I am paying for that. So
Okay.
we can work out a scheme to steal my money back, I suppose.
Yes.
Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson went on IR for the Dolphins. Do you have any?
That's
Dolphins?
a bad one. I saw that today. That may be a bad one for me. That was a conviction for me.
So you don't have like sideshow. What is his name? Sideshow Raheem Mostert.
No, he burned me last year, and I saw a thing about targets for Jeff Wilson and how he's going to be a massively valuable RB1, and so I took a lot of him, and now he's on IR. So that may burn me a little bit. If Jalen Hurts goes down, wrap up the season, it's over. I've taken so much. In my 5-5-5, I stacked Hurts with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, which is extremely hard to do in these drafts.
Is that round 1, 2, 3?
It's round 1, 2, 3. Yes, I got Smith at the top of the third round, like second pick or third pick.
So you took Hurts like second overall?
I took Brown, Hurts in the second round, and then Devontae Smith top of the third.
Did you feel the need to go get Goddard too in the fourth round?
I did. I got him. Goddard. And I think I got Swift just to really load up.
So when you build that team and you're all in on the Eagles like that, do you pick another team and go like a crappy team and go all like, I don't know, Godwin, Evans, and Baker or something like that?
No, I did a secondary stack of the Vikings.
Oh.
Cousins. KJ Osborne's probably my biggest conviction this year. And they cut Jalen Reagor today or yesterday. So KJ Osborne, Kirk Cousins.
And Addison?
I didn't take Madison.
No, Addison.
Addison. No, there was one more. I'm trying to think of what.
Hawkinson?
No, I think they're backup running back. Ty Chandler? No.
Yeah, Ty Chandler. Although they just picked up Myles Gaskin too. So Ty Chandler season might be delayed a little bit.
I think Hawkinson goes a little too early for me, albeit he could have a blowout season. But I just think that KJ Osborne's going to have these huge spike games. I think Kirk Cousins is undervalued.
Well, where's he going? Like, he's going in the range he should be. He's in that like Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott zone, isn't he?
I'll answer that question here in a second.
Pull up your draft from today.
pull my 5-5-5. No, I think Rodgers is value. I would never draft a Cowboy to save my life. Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Cowboys. I've been taking a lot of Cardinals. I think they're value. The Jets, because I'm such a Hard Knocks slapwad that every time I watch Hard Knocks, I fall in love with the team. I was like, this is right. Don't you? Like the Lions last year?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even watch Hard Knocks, so.
You don't?
No.
You know who the voice of Hard Knocks is?
Is it Live Schreiber?
Liv Schreiber? Yeah.
Is it Live or Live? Like, is he sponsored by the Live Tour?
But I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he's been the voice forever.
Yeah. That's like saying Channing Tatum was the voice. That's just, how does that happen?
I mean, he has a good voice. He has a good narration voice.
It's a little much. Okay, he comes on the set and he goes full voice. And I'm like, come on, just bring it to a 7.
Well, have you ever directed a commercial or just produced a commercial?
I've done both.
So have you been on the other side of the glass when you have the voice actor guy in and like he's really giving it?
We hire out voice actors that we don't even know who they are. But I agree. I mean, I'm just saying that Rodgers was such a huge fan of the voice. He got an uncomfortable, this bromance position where he had to really overplay it to not disappoint his new friend, Aaron. And it was really awkward TV for me. Watch the show.
What's that? It's the same show every year is the problem.
Did I what?
No, I said just the same. Hard Knocks is essentially the same show every year.
It is. Yeah. But now they have that magician on there, and it's really exciting.
I did see clips of that, and Rodgers was pumped for a magician.
Yes.
That tracks.
I didn't take him. Oh, I took Mac Jones. Yikes.
Yo, that's
Yikes.
Mac Jones. He's good.
He's not good. I forgot to draft a second quarterback, and he gets to Mac Jones dust level.
Yeah, that's a tough scene. Did you see the PGA Live DP news?
Nope.
Starting in 2025, that there's going to be a super league between all of them. So I guess there's like 18 specialty events or something like that, and guys can play on whatever tour that they want.
Oh, really? That just happened?
Yeah, I saw it this morning.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I want them all back together.
Right.
I mean, it's weird because I felt like the majors actually meant way more this year because they all got to play against each other. So there's something to that. Like, if you really only have 4 tournaments realistically that anyone cares about, and probably only 3 because no one really cares about the PGA Championship, although it's been amazing. It's been the best major like the past 5 years. But there's a gravitas to it. It's like the elevated events are super fun. But once you're into like the 10th one of them, and then you show up to the FedEx Cup playoffs, it's like, well, I've seen this tournament 10 times already. Why do I care about this?
Do you feel, what are your thoughts on the FedEx Cup Championship finale?
I mean, I watched maybe an hour of it on Saturday.
It's not good. It's not good. FedEx spending all this money to keep these guys rich and not getting a lot of viewership.
Well, I don't know if it has so much to do with the viewership. It's the fact that they talk about the fucking FedEx Cup every week, every broadcast throughout the entire season, NBC, CBS. So you get your tentacles and your mentions all the way through. So I don't think it's like that bad for them, but the fact that this is the final event and no one cares is kind of ridiculous. But I actually have no solution for it. Like, I like the match play idea that you play, like, I don't know, the top 4. Like there's a big thing that you have to get inside the top 4 heading into East Lake. And if you're inside the top 4, you get exempted to the match play knockout tournament. And then there's 36 holes, and the top 4 from that have to play the other 4. Then you have single elimination. Like, that would be fun, I think, but it might not be. It might be terrible.
I think, and I'm concerned that now Jay Monahan, I'm concerned that he's still at the helm of this whole ship, and they're carting him out at the end of the tournament when players really don't have a lot of faith in him right now. He's just not best to be the representative of the brand on the biggest stage. But that's my opinion. I think it's a problem now that he's saying we're going to take live investment in order to wipe out advertisers so you can watch commercial-free broadcast. I don't think that'll improve their game because commercials are the ones that validate that your product is being liked and watched by big brands. And so if they just wipe that out.
Like, it was a big thing with Live, like why a lot of people continue not to take Live seriously whatsoever. Like they had a big thing the other day that there's a shirt deal with the 4 aces now from some fucking company that has 12 followers on Twitter. It's like, all right. So like, I sponsored Live is essentially what it comes down to. If you can't, like, how good can your league be if you can't literally sell commercial time? You need to pay a network to get on it. Like, I get that it's a startup, and that's how a lot of leagues started up, is paying for airtime. But it just, when you're competing against, like, and you have this much money, of course you can do that when you're have the Saudi pockets coming at you and the trillions of dollars. But it just makes you seem super illegitimate. If you're going to take that money, instead of not buying out the commercials, just develop that product that we've been talking about for years. Like, put the money in the infrastructure so I can pay for a service. Create an OTT platform that I can watch from my phone or put on my TV and 8-box it, and I can follow whatever golfers I want. Because at least then, you're not giving up money from the sponsors like you would be by getting rid of commercials. And you're using your money on an investment in a product that you can actually sell to people like me.
And you're improving the product. And they did that for the players as a test case, and it was fantastic. But it seemed to be washed away. And I think that the problem was, you see Bryson selling these 58 T-shirts that no one will buy. Right? There is a disconnect. Tiger made people believe that there was a huge fan base for the game of golf, and not just exclusively Tiger. And a lot of these big names leveraged that work from Tiger to monetize themselves. Let him do it. That's fair. But in terms of them bringing over their following or fans of them watching golf, that really never materialized. Liv has been successful in disrupting the game, no doubt. The product, though, we can admit is a failure. No one's watching it. What I think you're hit it right in the head is that instead of having an end of the year FedEx Cup championship, why does FedEx not get more involved in some of these massive events like Players Championship, right? Make it bigger. Make it the FedEx Cup Players Championship. Everyone watches that. That's one of the best tournaments all year. And then do your OTT.
That would be super. That. Well, because how much money is in the prize pool at least like $40 million?
Oh, it's criminal. It's insane. Yeah.
So just put that onto the players. Like, let's go to Sawgrass for 4 rounds. The winner gets $20 million.
And you know what? FedEx is going to comp all this. There's going to be no commercials. We're going to put everything on split screen so you can watch every player, brought to you by FedEx. Oh, we just solved a brand problem and a money problem.
They don't want to do it. And maybe they know. Maybe
they
know better than we do.
Business. It's American bloated business. It's a bunch of suits like this. They do this. And all they do is just manage and protect money and not fuck it up. That is your role. I'm an executive. You don't do shit, dude. All you do is just don't ruffle any feathers and make sure an absolute lemur can run these companies. It doesn't matter. Every one of them, mostly. Steve Jobs was a game changer. He built things. Suit guys don't do anything. It's frustrating.
Well, as long as you don't lose money in that job, you just get promoted again.
Get promoted. Here's your 20 million bonus. Good job. You didn't fuck things up. Are we growing?
Where would be the incentive to actually do anything?
Well, we're here now. The monopoly is over with. And PGA is now just scrambling. Oh, God, we got to do something. More money. Oh, the ghost just flew by.
It's funny with even just a portion of that new money influx that's coming in, what they could do with that. But I mean, I always wonder too sometimes that, like, are we just in a bubble of people who like golf? And it's such a minuscule portion of the audience that we just legitimately don't matter.
I don't think the audience of golf, I don't think they understand the audience of golf. I don't think the fans have been part of this calculus for 2 years. It's all been about players, money, players, me. I want to play less. I want to make more money. I want to be shotgun start. Me. What do the fans want? I don't care. Yeah. That's why you're out of the top 10 and most popular sports on earth. Has the game grown at all? No. The PGA Championship ratings were horrendous. No one cared about Michael Block. The Tour Championship numbers are going to be terrible, I bet.
Well, I didn't see the ratings for it, but do you remember when Ricky won at Rocket Mortgage and you couldn't find it on TV?
Yeah.
So
I mean, Kyle Porter said the other day, he's like, I can't, I think he was being serious, or maybe not unserious, but he said the FedEx Cup Championship was preempted, was cut off for the a preseason Dallas Cowboys game. Of course it was.
Yeah, of course.
Of course it was. What does that tell you?
Well, I mean, it was preempted in Texas for that, not across the nation, right?
I would have rather watched the Dallas Cowboys. Well,
maybe so, but I can assure you that in like the Cowboys like TV zone, yeah, PGA is getting the boot over anything Cowboys. Could have been a Jerry Jones interview. Was getting the boot.
The highest edge you have in best ball is against Cowboys fans,
unless they're good one, then you're screwed.
Yeah,
it's like the fade Rahm every week after he won the Masters. Like, it feels like you're gonna get got, but you didn't really ever get got.
Nope.
I find that super interesting because I thought, I mean, it could have been a troll comment for all I know. I don't want to like straw man something I saw on the internet. However, it was just like, yeah, Rahm had a bad year. It's like Rahm had the best year. That's why he's going to win Player of the Year when all is said and done, because, you know, he won a major, he won 4 times. But do we not react enough to these guys who go on? Like, just the fact that Scheffler was able to sustain this ball striking for as long as he did and continue with the shitty putting all the time. I mean, that's one thing. Like, that's a very impressive feat from him. But like, Rahm was unbeatable for 3 months. That you just knew it had to end because he's not Tiger.
Yeah, would he have 4 wins and a Masters?
Yeah.
I mean, if you win the Masters, you're kind of up there in terms of player of the year, right?
No, I mean, he won. He won a major. He won 4 times. No one else. No, I think Vic would be the next one, the next closest one. He didn't win a major. He won 3 times. He won Memorial, BMW, and the Tour Championship, but didn't win a major. Like, he can't win.
Rahm had a career in a span of 8 months.
Yeah,
Like,
in 3
like
months.
4 wins in a major.
From January to April.
How many guys have been chasing a Masters? He's what, 26?
I think he's 28 now. I can effort that. But I can effort John Rahm's age.
Anyone think it's going to be his last one? I mean, my God, he's going to be in those dinners for the next 70 years.
Yeah. He's 28.
28.
But I wonder if we've seen this the past few Masters winners, because who's it been? It's been Rahm, Scotty, Hideki. Feel like they all kind of fell off. Like, even Scotty fell off a little bit last year after he won at Augusta. Like, he didn't win again until Phoenix the next year.
Look at Tiger. He almost died.
Yeah, that was the end of Tiger.
The end of Tiger. Look
Like,
at Will
Sergio
Zalatoris
fell off a map
it.
after he won.
Huh?
Sergio just didn't do shit in a major for like 6 years and after he won.
No, ruined his life. I mean, all these guys are just. Brooks has got to be close next year, right?
I find him to be one of the most fascinating athletes on earth.
I know a guy out at the event at the best ball. I won't name his name, but he is 150,000 per major in action. Brooks over Cantlay against someone, against a group of people.
Like,
so finishes.
This year, or just in general, or just every major?
Next year.
Okay. It feels like Cantlay will get one. No, I'm not going to say next year, but like, he'll get one somewhere.
I would take Brooks on that side of the bet all day.
Yeah, I would take Brooks as well. But I don't want to. It's not because I think Patrick Cantlay sucks, but
no. There's a lot of Patrick Cantlay guys out there.
There has to be none.
A lot of these sharp guys love Patrick Cantlay.
But do they actually like Patrick Cantlay? Or is it just like,
I know
he's going to come 8th?
They play him a lot.
Sure, because he's consistently good, but we're talking about winners here and fandom. Like, is anyone a fan of Patrick Cantlay?
No. Is anyone a fan of any of the golf, right?
Well, I mean, I feel like Rory has fans. Brooks has fans. It's not Ricky has fans.
I think Ricky may be the most popular player on tour.
That's what I wanted to get back to. So they released like a social media engagement thing from each of the tournaments this year.
You're such a pros pro, by the way, because you wrote that down and you circled back.
That Rocket Mortgage came 4th this year as a tournament for the most social media reach and engagement. And I was wondering, is that because Ricky won, or is that because people were trying to find it on the internet and like being mad about it?
That's a great question. No, I think that Ricky is one of the most popular golfers ever. And I think that there's something just exciting about him. I think he's one of my favorite golfers on tour. I would, there's not many people I stop just to watch golf. Tiger, yes, of course. But Ricky winning, because he's such a people, he's the man of the people. He's the biggest man of the people on this tour. He could have gone to live easily when he was injured and made a fortune.
But he could have made a fortune, but I feel like he's kind of making a fortune anyway. Like, he was one of the few that was still like, he has, like, there's only so many golf big national sponsorships to go around. Yeah. And he is always one of the 3 guys.
Even when he like, right. Yeah. I mean, it's just a Baker Mayfield model, right? When he was on everything, Baker Mayfield, he had so much sponsorship, and granted, because he was very good on television, he's very good in media, but he sucked. Generally.
Oh, we'll see how he does in Tampa.
No.
Get your money in, and 10-1 Bucks to win the division.
The NFC is so bad.
That's the thing. Like, why are they worse than everyone else? They're not. They're the same. They all suck.
It's Eagles, Niners, and have a good day.
Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, Lions, Vikings ish.
Yeah.
Rest.
Bengals, Eagles.
That's actually my Super Bowl. I
Bengals
have
33. Eagles 24.
I have Cincinnati over Philadelphia. That was my pick on the show. But
Yep.
it's going to be Kansas City.
Yep.
Now, you're a big Bengals guy. How do you? I guess they got to go to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they didn't win, but
Right.
does it suck having this generational guy and this generational team that you can only afford for so long, and it happens at exactly the same time as maybe the best player ever?
Who are you saying the best player ever is?
Mahomes.
Okay. They're going to lock up Burrow for the most money that's ever been paid. I agree
Sure.
with that. I think they'll lock up Chase. Higgins would have to take a discount. Boyd can't hack it, but they're never going to break up these two unless they're foolish.
Yeah, I could see Higgins going, but it feels a lot like Peyton Manning during the Brady years.
You have, and they have, in order to do this right, you've got to draft exceptionally well and let some of these stars like Justin Bates, who went to the Falcons, go, and you can't pay him. Jesse Bates, not Justin Bates, excuse me, Jesse Bates.
I think Justin Bates is a DraftKings golf provider.
I was going to say there is a Justin Bates, and I put my foot in my mouth. He's like a murderer or something. No, but listen, is it bad? No, there's so much hype around here now. It's awesome. I mean, to have a once in a generation quarterback, it's awesome. It's fun. I suffered through Bengals forever. I deserve this.
You're starting to sound like Cust. This is how he talks.
What is he a fan of?
The Jets.
Oh, he is so goddamn lucky. That Rodgers is going to turn that. I mean, watch Hard Knocks. He's going to turn the entire franchise around.
Yeah,
He's changed culture instantly.
They don't really give guys bad edits in Hard Knocks. They make them seem like they're great guys and they're going to be awesome every time.
Lions did pretty well. The Jets, he's just changing everything about that team. He's awesome. I started drafting it because I'm such a simp for this stuff. Like I see one guy in Hard Knocks, I'm like, yeah, he's going to be the MVP.
So Wilson, Rodgers, who was the other guy you put with him? Lazard?
Lazard a little bit. Yeah.
No Corey Davis?
No Corey Davis. So one of the guys drafted them in their 50K for the best ball, and he retired from football.
That's rough.
That's rough. Breece Hall, right? He's a beast.
Well, I mean, you do these drafts like all summer long.
Yeah.
Is there an informational advantage of doing them in the end of May, beginning of July, whenever it might be, not knowing what Corey Davis retiring, Jonathan Taylor getting injured, the Jets signing Dalvin Cook, so he's going to split carries with Breece Hall. We don't know what that is. Like, is there still enough of an advantage drafting that early versus drafting later on when you know some of this information, or is it just everyone knows this information now? So
I think it's split, right? I think you could draft heavy early and run pure, or get injured or cut and be incorrect. And if you can draft early, get a better ADP, and your players start to, like, for instance, Josh Jacobs, right? People weren't drafting him. They thought, oh, he's not going to play again. Well, if you drafted him, you got a very good ADP on him, and now you're in the driver's seat. I think he'll be probably the nuts on a lot of teams. Look how fantastic he was last year. Inversely, if you wait, you get past the bad news and draft ahead of any injuries, but you can't navigate injuries all season. I mean, I got burned a ton last year with injuries. But you're paying up for guys that we got a discount on in May and June. I think you floated over 3 months. You get the best of both worlds.
is it possible to win? I mean, it is possible to win this. I know it's like playing in the Millionaire Maker. But I was thinking about this the other day, that when it comes to, being very competitive in all these best ball contests or in a millionaire maker, or these giant DraftKings contests, is it even worth playing it if you don't have a bankroll? Like, should you just focus on other things? Like Tambo and I talked about that on the DraftKings strategy show, and that I became a much better DraftKings player when I stopped playing, the giant $5, the giant $20, and feeling like, oh, I'm not going to win this with one. I need to invest $500, $1,000 into this every single week, where I just have more success playing like a $200 single entry every week and not the multi-entry stuff.
There are single entry players, and then there are maxers. If you're going to play, unless you get completely fortunate, if you're going to play one of these $25 tournaments, for me at least, I've got to max. I can't give up any sort of edge to these guys who are maxing and have 75 more lineups than me or whatever. So either I go in full or I go in not full. And that's even paying up in best ball showdown, like the 3-3-3s. I mean, Whistles Go Woo says that a lot about his strategy. You have to pay up to win money because not a lot of guys are maxing the 3-3-3. But if you do, you've got especially in showdown, you've got a significant advantage over the field. And single entry is single entry. I don't have a lot of success there.
Is it?
Although I did finish fourth in 3180 for MLB this week. Thank you.
In a single entry?
Single entry, yeah.
There
there were two entries, but frankly, that's single entry.
Yeah. See, I mean, I'm putting myself at a massive disadvantage because I do like I was even talking about like the $150 three maxes for NFL. Like I kind of play those like single entries. I mean, you can only have a max up to 3. So I am at a disadvantage against the guys playing 3 of the entries, but just even to look at them, like there's a couple of them where it's like 15K up top. Then there's other ones that have like 50K up top and 100,000K up top. And just my ROI and the one that has 15K up top is just way higher than the other two.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just for smaller fields. Like I can make a mistake and it's okay.
Yeah. I think it's a good strategy.
Because I don't want to play. I'm just not going to play $5,000 a week. I have no desire to do that.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
What I could win, to me, and maybe this is just me speaking that way, what I could win playing $5,000 a week is not the same as how shitty I would feel losing $5,000 a week, if that makes any sense.
Oh, well, I think it's just a different mindset then, right?
Yeah.
I'm just super aggressive. I'll just go ahead and do it, right?
And it seems like that's the mentality you need to have to play that sort of bankroll. I just don't have it.
Yeah, you gotta know that you're gonna be hurt sometimes. I mean, the next day I maxed the 111 in baseball and got crushed. But I had no intentions unless I had won a few contests like the 3180 or got finished fourth at least. I had won the contest for 100,000, except the Dodgers. The Dodgers game was canceled. One of the games was canceled stupidly. Dodgers was canceled, but I had a little bit of bankroll to max the showdown in PGA. Normally I wouldn't do it, but I just said, okay, let's get aggressive and see if we can get ready for next season for NFL. And it paid off. So,
well, I'll leave you with this because we're doing like very specialty shows on this. Like I mentioned, me and Tambo talked about DraftKings strategy, from picking tournaments to constructing rosters to single entry versus 150, that kind of thing. And that show's out already now on Mayo Media Network. So go do that. I'm going to be doing a Showdown DraftKings show with Justin Freeman, my partner at runthesims.com. Code Mayo, by the way. And we're making Thursday night, the opening game, free to anyone who wants to use the tools. But that's more of how can you compete in these giant tournaments using tools, using simulations, using projections, and visually walking through that on the screen. And you can kind of jump into it right now over at Run the Sims and create a free account and get those tools. But that's just for one game. You got to pay for them the rest of the season. But for you, I know that you max the Showdown contest, but you're even talking about playing even higher stakes Showdown contests. Like what would be the difference to you? I don't need you to give away all your secrets because I know that you're very anti giving away your secrets because you're the one who's trying to win money. But if you're constructing one Showdown lineup versus 150, like what do you look for in the one?
Well, I'll build 150 and then pick the highest projected if I'm going to do a single.
And that's just it? Just whatever projects the highest, that's the one?
Yeah, because the optimizer is telling me based on my projections if they hit. So if I hit game script and I hit within a certain range with players getting the targets and yards and touchdowns, that is going to be your best chance at a win with that lineup. And I'll use it. But I don't typically play single. I want to make sure I have as many combinations as possible in order to have that advantage.
So if you say it's game script dependent, do you play different game scripts or do you play 150 of the same game script?
There are people who play multiple game scripts. I typically just go with the projections that I know that I'm confident in. So it turns out to be one game script. And I could be way off or I could not be way off. And there's certain things that I do with projections. And there are people that'll even, very sharp people that'll argue me on this, but there are certain players that are always, I think, underprojected. And changing that gets them more into your lineups than not. So it's really looking at what's in the public and knowing that this is what the public is going to be using and finding some differences with what you have and capitalizing on that. And I just let good optimizers run the show.
You're not smarter than a computer.
I've learned that. I used to force rules. I used to force min max. I used to force ownership and not touch projections. And I'm like, why would you try to beat an optimizer in assembling lineups? Oh, you want 40% Rob Gronkowski? Why not 100% since he's the highest projected player? You fucking nimwit. Right.
Justin just created a thing at Run the Sims. Maybe you should take a look into it. It's the Sim Runner. So not only can you make your do whatever tweaks you want to the projections, generate your lineups based on the 10,000 simulations, but he's also using dummy lineups based on the projections themselves to fill contests and simulate those contests to see and to create an EV percentage based on duping. And like when I talked to him about it, the video's up right now. People can go check it out. It's a really cool idea. And I know it's for very high-end daily fantasy players. When I was talking to him, I was like, there's no chance I'm ever going to use this. And it's like a premium add-on. Like the people who will use it how it's supposed to be used. But it's such a cool tool, but can only be used by so many people.
That's wild. I should try it out.
It's up there now. I'll get you a login.
Can I? Do you want me to talk about my news, or is that?
Yeah, no. Let's do it. I mean, that wasn't the impetus. We've been talking about just doing something together for like 3 weeks, but now you got news. Let's talk about it.
All right. So I don't know when we're going to release this.
Tomorrow, Friday morning.
Okay, well, that's not bad. I may announce tonight, then being Thursday, but my business is in the agency world and marketing and business development. I still do that day to day, and I've taken sort of I've turned down my content a lot, podcast wise, because it was taking up a lot of time, and really, what value was I offering the market in terms of what I was saying, and it wasn't being monetized at all. I just had to use my time to make money. And that's my agency life, daily life. I was offered a business opportunity to help Run Pure Sports grow, build, change culture, use all my business, history and my team to help make it a bigger and better company. And Big T, Tony Nihas, which is, in my mind, one of the better players in the world, asked me if I wanted to come aboard. And I took really a lot of time, months and months and months, to figure out whether I could add value, B, change culture, improve their product. And I like the stuff going on, and I do. So I am long-winded story. I am taking a leadership position there, via my business life and my agency, and I'm going to lead Run Pure Sports.
So are we going to see you on the Thursday Night Football streams giving out your picks?
Does it mean I'm going to do Major League Baseball cores? Not yet. JBC, who's one of the best on earth, who is, also on the team. Bryce, Third and Schlong, is on the team now too. He would never let me do that. But yes, so I'm going to be doing a probably to lock show Thursday nights on Showdown.
Ooh, you're going to be competing with Mayo Media Network with the similar show.
Well, maybe there could be some synergy.
You know what? With Tambo and who posting it, I very much doubt it.
Well, maybe there could be no synergy. And I want to say that too, because everyone's like, oh, it's these two outfits are going to go to war. That's kind of been the message internally. It's like, we can't worry about what anyone else does, right? I've got a relationship with Tambo. He owns a horse with me. I think highly of him, right? It's only, I love business challenges because you have to focus on what you do. And you do that too, Pat. I mean, you've never been conflict oriented in terms of your business, and people try to take swipes and try to, you've been very gracious to people your entire career because you can only focus on what you do best. And that's all I'm going to do. So I wish the best of luck to everyone. Will we do shows together? Probably not. It may be good content. The three of us holding fucking guns at each other, like you, me, and Tambo.
Yeah, don't put me in the Mexican standoff. I'll just be the guy sitting in the middle.
We got Run the Sims. That's competing with me, right?
Not really. It's a tools. Okay. It's a tools product. You I mean that's why I wanted to help. Like Justin and I created Run the Sims because it is strictly a tools product. There is no content around it. Just customizable tools. Like the idea was that we would take our product and go to you and go to all of the different DFS sites out there and be like, hey, we provide a cheaper version of this product that you already have. Come use us.
Oh, well, maybe we need to talk.
Yeah.
Maybe we're business partners. No,
like if you have projections, it'd be easy. We can white label Run the Sims, give it to you. The guy who does your projections can upload his projections, take away our projections, and boom, all your users can use them.
I will say that's a very interesting proposition. I will say that I know that we're going to have the best NFL projections in the game. I'm going to have the best team in the game, and we're going to light things up. So,
and first order of business, are you hiring Siege? Say yes.
I'm hiring Tim Andercust to be the CEO.
Smart.
That face right there. Smart.
Good luck still appear on my show.
Of course.
There we go.
No, actually, we're going to bring on some talent for sure.
Siege and Tommy G.
That's funny. You said the second name. No.
I mean, I missed Tom. I missed having Tommy around. I love Tommy.
Really?
The content? Oh yeah, man. We used to do Game of Thrones shows together. They were awesome.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
All right. Good news. Congratulations, man.
Hey, and people are like, wow, I can't believe you're going tout life. I'm not.
That's the first thought I had is like, I can't believe Wiley's going tout.
No, you're not. No, I love doing content. I have no reason to do content as much anymore. I love doing this, chopping it up. I could do this for hours with you. I mean, I said, do people want to see my client list at the agency? I work with Bud Light too. Ooh.
Oh, do you realize Wiley went woke?
Woke. He's woke. That wasn't my idea. So no, it's just fun. It's a business challenge, and let's the best team win.
I mean, that's the thing. There doesn't need to be a winner and loser. There's the space is still huge enough that everyone can kind of do well.
No, I want losers.
You do, but I mean, I've always, like you said, it's not that I lack conflict. I love conflict with people, right. But as Mayo Media Network, I always kind of wanted to be Switzerland in a lot of this stuff, where it's good for me to have good relationships with everyone if I'm producing content.
My team calls me the Ukraine
because you're not.
I'm out to kill,
or that you're just getting a lot of funded money sent to you to Wiley.
No. I'm out to destroy Russians.
Oh, okay. So take that off the client list. No Russians allowed. You're really killing your base already, pal.
Yes,
all right. Well, again, Wiley77 on Twitter. Will Golflandia come back at least? Like you say,
will.
you provide no actual content. I loved listening to Golflandia. I just thought it was a fun.
We
like,
might
I'm
do
not there.
sport.
Listen, it's the same reason people listen to my show. They're not like, man, Pat's got some pretty sharp picks. People still listen because they like it.
Yeah. Sportlandia. We're gonna do multi things. I like doing Wednesday Spaces. I think it's one of the best untapped platforms. I think you should do more of them too.
If I could figure out an easy way to rip Spaces to put it into an audio podcast, because I get paid for audio podcasts and don't get paid for Spaces, that would be much easier for me. If I could insert a mid-roll into Spaces, I would do it. But if we're talking about getting paid, I can either put it on Twitter's platform or I can put it on Apple's platform, which I can actually monetize.
We'll figure that out.
You figure that out, you let me know.
And we'll talk about Run the Sims.
But of course.
Run Pure Sports, think NFL 17. That's the code. Sign up. You're going to see the best team in the world.
Facts. The Cincinnati Bengals of DFS.
The Cincinnati Bengals of DFS. We'll give all the secrets up.
Wiley77 on Twitter is where you can follow him. You can follow me at the PME. I am doing a giveaway, $500 for every 100 reviews we get for the audio podcast on the Pat Mayo Experience on Apple or Spotify. So subscribe, rate and review 5 stars. Make up something you enjoy about the show, even if you don't enjoy the show, although you're listening to this at the end of the show. So I assume you probably enjoyed it, or you just really like to hate listen to things. Either way, you rate it 5 stars, include your Twitter handle or email address. If you get pulled as the winner, then boom, you get $500. Tell 99 of your friends, then 2 of you can win $500. That's the way that this is going to go. So please support us, help us out by smashing the like, newsletter sub. That's completely free. Sub on the YouTube. And that's a part of the giveaway. Week 1 Listeners League. Now available, rake free, 3 max entry. Hit that down in the description and runthesims.com. Code Mayo will get you 10% off during the year, but Thursday night football opener is completely free to check out the tools on your own. All right, I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!